Hello everyone, welcome back in Tech Session 23. So guys, today's session I'll show you hands-on training end-to-end infra cloud setup along with Azure, CI/CD pipeline, GitHub and Terraform AI Copilot. Okay. So in this session, I'm going hybrid solution approach. Okay. So the last session, whatever session I cover, that is DevOps and enterprise solution. Okay. So now I'm just using hybrid solution. Like it means some part of solution would be Azure DevOps, some of the GitHub, Terraform IAC, and AI assistant Copilot that will remain same here. So like why we are going to this solution approach. Yes, of course, is needed, but it's depend on the business need or organization needed. Okay, so I'll explain you why we are going hybrid solution, what is the purpose and benefits here. Okay, so before going to changes, so what I did the changes in the hybrid solution. So hybrid solution and Azure DevOps CI/CD will continue, and the project management will use Azure DevOps, but source management will change. Here is a GitHub, okay, instead of Git. Okay, and the CI/CD will remain same pipeline configuration will need to do, and but we need to reconfigure the pipeline because now we are going to integrate Azure DevOps with GitHub. Okay, condition gates will manage from DevOps itself because pipeline still we are using from Azure DevOps side. GitHub Copilot will use continue to generate code, template, troubleshooting and documentation, and also helping to finding some issues or fixing. Okay, coming to next, why we choose this solution and how many approach we have so that we can leverage as per your needed. All right. So coming to approach solution summary, I'll explain here. So we use last session Azure DevOps and also CI/CD also Azure DevOps and project management also we are using Azure DevOps. Yes, that is ideal for centralized enterprise team. And now I'm going for the approach to like source management will be GitHub, CI/CD will continue Azure DevOps, and project management also Azure DevOps. That is hybrid workflow. It means your code will continue in GitHub. We will push, we will update changes and all from VS Code to GitHub. But pipeline and project management board, you know, project tracking, RT iterations, all need to be managed from the DevOps side. Okay. After this solution, we'll go for the third approach. That is, we are using source code GitHub, and action will also use the GitHub action, and project management will use Azure DevOps. That will also use the Agile team and GitHub first culture. So ideally, if before going to Azure DevOps, team continue use GitHub to manage their code because it's eco-friendly for developer to manage code and create branch and also follow the code flow process as well. So there are always choice. Coming to different approach, like customer need, like we need a CI/CD tool. So traditional way they use Jenkins, some other tools also they are using. Then let us come on to enterprise level Azure DevOps because that is a centralized tool. It will manage the code, it will manage your project management, also CI/CD workflow process, right? After that, like GitHub also provide action workflow, like they can manage Azure DevOps. And now instead of Azure DevOps, they can manage GitHub action flow and code management. But project management solid is still not there in GitHub. So in that case, what we'll do? Either you will go for Trello, either go for Jira, either go for the Azure DevOps because you need to manage project, task, assignment, work, iteration based on the agile process. Yes, you need to use. So it depend on the customer choice and the need. They can accordingly leverage this solution and start their work. Now solution come. Why we choose this solution? Why we will not go to Azure DevOps continue? So each solution have some additional benefit and use cases. So based on that, you can decide and start your journey, right? So I'll explain here why we choose solution 1, 2, and 3 approach here. So let me explain to first. So first solution that we explain is Azure DevOps, right? And source management and all right, guys. So Solution one that we use Azure DevOps for project management, source code, and CI/CD pipeline. Okay, for any project, when you will start the Agile or Scrum process, make sure they follow these process. Okay, always. So yes, we need a project manager so that we can track the task assignment, we can track the user story, and also track the dashboard also, right? So yes, we need a project management. This is the first thing. Second thing need for any project, we need a source management, right? Where we can update or track the version control of your code. Let's say today change some version and latest some changes there. Yes, so we need a source management. So source management, we have a uh, needed either Git or GitHub or any other tool that you can use. But most of them they use it. Okay. And third thing's a CI/CD pipeline, because if you are following Agile Scrum, you need to small changes and changes to deploy in your respective environment, either application or either your infrastructure. Okay. So three things needed for every project. And based on that, the customer decided to go with that solution approach or tools to utilize their project. Okay, so here the main benefit in the Azure DevOps here is all in one platform. It means if you choose this platform, it means it's all in one. It means all three things are available in single tools. So you can go this one, all in one platform. Simply simplify the tool chain by manage code, task, pipeline, one places. That is one thing. Second is strong enterprise support, ideal for organization already using Microsoft. Like some of customer already using cloud Microsoft, so they will definitely go with Azure DevOps because it's already integrated, and then support also provide Microsoft if needed any case as it, right? Otherwise, advanced boarding, agile tool, sprint planning, backlog tracking, also you can take care. Other thing is robust pipeline, support multi-cloud deployment. Like from this tool, you can also use multiple cloud also to deploy your complex workflow infrastructure. Okay. Coming to next, we decided we know the benefits, right? So single plate, all our vegetable fruits are there, so you can go with this one based on your project need. So best for team who can use this one. Yes, of course, is all for this, but benefits is here. Team seeking centralized. Who is looking centralized? Like they don't want to go multiple platforms tool to integrate. They want to single tool to control your all these source management project and pipeline. Yes, they can use. Other one tight integration. They want to integrate like want to stick this one and Azure and all, and also enterprise grade governance if they want to follow. Yes, go this one approach, right? Second approach that currently I'm talking, that is hybrid approach. Like some of part will use Azure DevOps, some of part the GitHub sites. Okay, so this solution is best for both the worlds. Okay, it GitHub developer friendly because most of the developer is like to GitHub, so they can go with this one. And Azure Power Pipeline board also there, right? They can use social coding. GitHub enable better collaboration and pull requests, right? They can go this one. Flexibility integration, Azure DevOps can link, like is a flexibility also provide. DevOps tool can be integrated with the GitHub and authenticate or automate build and deploy pipeline also. So best for the team, prefer GitHub code management, but need Azure DevOps for enterprise CI/CD project tracking. Like though customer looking like they want to manage code in itself in good GitHub site, but they need Azure DevOps for enterprise CI/CD pipeline and project, because you need to track the project, you need a CI/CD pipeline. So then you can go with Azure DevOps or GitHub both. So project sites also good, pipelines also good, easily management, enterprise scale, and also developer like this approach because they are eco-friendly, they are very familiar with this GitHub site, and also provide different approaches, right? So they can go with a GitHub also and Azure DevOps. So two things can take care from Azure DevOps, pipeline and project tracking, and other is code management will go continue GitHub. So in that case, we don't need Jira, we don't need Janhow, we don't need any other trawler tools, right? We don't need a single. So two tools will manage these approach. First solution, single tool will manage all approach. Second is manage two tools your solution approach. Okay. Coming to third one. Third one is Azure DevOps project management only, right? So we need a project management, but GitHub pipeline and source will continue with GitHub, right? All right, guys. So next is solution third that already explained in this one. But yes, so if you want to manage your Azure DevOps project and GitHub action and source management, you can go with this approach, right? So in that case, your CI/CD pipeline and code management will be use GitHub here. But so project management, either you can use Azure DevOps or can use Jira or can use Jenkins. GenHub. So GenHub you can use here for project management. So there are three tools that I'm going to explain. One is Jira, Azure DevOps, or GenHub. Okay. So in and three of the you can decide which tool you want to use for project management. But CI/CD and GitHub Action will continue with GitHub. Okay. And what's the benefit here? Like lightweight CI/CD, a GitHub Action workflow offer fast, native, automatically direct to your repo. Yes, and modern DevOps flow, GitHub Action project and action streamline development for smaller teams as well, right? So they can start like for project or startup team, they can start and go for the enterprise level also. Okay. Other is cost effective, reduce reliance on Azure DevOps infrastructure. So it's a cost effective solution, and the same tool will provide the CI/CD and code management. So we don't need to go with that approach, right? And other is the best approach here. Startup to agile team want GitHub in simplicity, but still use Azure board and structure project tracking. So in solution third, I'm using here for now Azure DevOps, right? As a project management, okay? Not to CI/CD, not to your code management. We are just using for project management Azure DevOps and GitHub and GitHub Action will use continue for GitHub, okay? So that is only this approach we are talking about. So currently I'm focused only the solution approach to that is a hybrid solution because some of part Azure DevOps, some of the GitHub sites, okay? Coming to next one, so the designing pattern. Okay, so if I'm talking to hybrid solution design, the design would be look like this. Okay, so here you can see, so you can see here the design. So design we are taking care like this is a developer here, developer or DevOps teams, they are working on the continue code, and here the GitHub integrate with VS Code or Visual Studio. So they are continue working in the VS Code side or here with along with the GitHub Copilot. And once they integrate, they need to clone their code with GitHub. Okay, this is a GitHub. We are calling this repo. And after that, they need to use Azure DevOps. This is Azure DevOps solution. Here you see we are not using Git repo. Okay, so our core we are still storing here. Okay, not to here. And here you see pipeline we are continue using Azure DevOps and board and artifact continue will use here, right? So that you can manage from there. So board it means your iteration, task and all we take care here. And after that we integrate here like we use either SPN or workload identification. You can integrate with Azure DevOps and Azure, and pipeline will go to deploy your resource. Before that you can store your tf state file in the respective storage blob storage inside container, right? So here I just provide high level information. So dev.tf state your tf state file inside your container. Similar for prod subscription, you can also create a storage inside the container and you can manage the production TF state file here. So that's a look like design here. If I'm going to last previous design, what the changes here? Okay. So last changes design here. If you go to last session, so I'll show you. So last session is here. We are using here. You see, we are not using GitHub. Okay. We are directly updating your code into Git repo. So here Visual Studio developer working and also integrate the GitHub Copilot. Okay, so Copilot here AI assistant which is helping to identify troubleshooting template code writing, right? We continue pushing code and pipeline also integrate here, and that is also your Azure cloud, right? Same as authentication mechanism, you can use workload identification or SPN, right? Similar TF state file you can store in the storage blob storage. So that is the last design that I explained, right? And this is the latest design for solution 2 that I'm talking to hybrid approach, right? So hybrid approach solution design would be this. Okay. All right. So after going to design, we'll go to the integration part. Let's move to next task. All right, guys. So So I hope you are clear the designing part. So that is how DevOps flow process will work for the hybrid solution approach. Only changes for the Git. So Git, yes, we are using GitHub, not to Git Azure DevOps Git, and CI/CD will continue Azure DevOps, and VS Code GitHub integration will continue, and the backend resource and Azure cloud will continue use, right? And TFS state file will use in backend blob storage, and inside the Spectre subscription we will create a separate TFS state file. Okay, coming to next one, once we clear designing, once we clear the solution approach, and then we'll go for the integration parts. Okay, so coming to integration part, the hands-on will show you in the next session, but I'll show you the overflow. So once you're ready with the connection side, then you need to make sure to create a connection between Azure DevOps and GitHub. Okay, so first I'm talking about the GitHub side. So first you need to create pet token in the GitHub side and go to the GitHub settings profile, and then setting, then developer setting. After that you can create a personal token, right? Once you create personal token, make sure to store in safe place because that is a secrets, and keep it for the integration purpose. Okay. So that is the first thing you need to do from the GitHub side. Once you're ready, the personal token, then you need to set up the also you need to choose type of personal token. So one type of classic pet that you can use board across your account and use scope like repo admin organizer. Okay, if you choose classic, yes, of course you can choose, but basically it's provide board access, entire access, like you need a repo specific access, so that is not managed by this one. It means you get a pet token, it will allow the all the repo access and all based on your access. It not means it will provide a full access. It provide whatever right permission you assign, but it will give entire board access of your GitHub repo. If you select fine tune gain pet token, it means more secure, right? It is provide more leverage to select a specific repo. Let's say you need to assign access a specific repo, so only you can select from this and you can add the permission. But if you go classic, it means you provide repo, it means all repo will have read only. If you provide read price, if you provide contribute or some additional access, it means all repo or board you can access, allow based on your permission. But here is a selection process. You can especially select based on your need. You need a one repo, you can assign one repo. It's not mean all repo will go with this specific permission. Okay, so always go with fine tune gain pet token is more secure, limited to specific repository of permission, right? You given one repo, you can go one. You want one access, you can go with one. But in classic, yes, you cannot even decide to choose one repo. You need to go and based on your configuration. Okay, and if you are talking to minimum permission needed before going to integrate your GitHub with Azure DevOps. So these permission needed. First permission is contents. So this is a permission type, and permission make sure assigned writes, read and write for cloning, pushing and pulling. Okay, make sure to assign this permission. This is as a permission group. Okay, next is issue. So that permission type also need to decide and give the permission like read and write. Basically is for the issue management. Okay, third is pull request, read and write for PR flow, pull request flow that's needed. So these three permission at least need to assign. Other one is metadata. This is by default is there. It is a read only permission. So make sure it is also there, but is by default added if you're creating pet token. Okay, so these four type permission needed. Three is mandatory. Without that, you cannot integrate and flow process with Azure DevOps. Okay, make sure to assign these permission. Okay. Now coming to next one and the DevOps side. So DevOps side, once you're ready to all collect the information, then you need to go to Azure DevOps project and go to project settings, similar service connection, and choose GitHub authentication, GitHub account and approve request. Like same I explained the last session to create a service connection, either workload feed rate identity or go to SPN, right? Based on that you can decide. Similarly, you need to select the GitHub to create a new connection and update your pet token here. So live demonstration will show you in the next session, guys. Please continue, watch and like and subscribe this channel. Okay. And if you are any question or any information suggestion, please share. So based on that, we'll update the improvement and suggestion based. All right, guys. Thank you so much for this session, and we'll show you integration upcoming session. Thank you, guys.